Hello, and welcome to Critical ReRoll, the podcast by the critters for the critters. My name's Matt, and I was going to do something, and I forgot to actually do it. So I'm going to let them introduce themselves, and I'll jump back in at the end.
Alright. I'm Kate, and I boop you.
I'm Ben, and I think I just got booped.
All right, I'll do one of I'm Matt, and I'm a Yuan-T now.
Oh,
God.
Oh no.
For
Yeah.
those not watching, but listening,
Exactly.
Matt has a snake hand made up of a sock and googly eyes.
And for those listening and not watching, you should totally join us for one of these live. Anyway, so Critical Reroll. This is our episode covering 38 of Critical Role, the one where they're still on an island.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's the title.
that is a description of what's happening.
Welcome to the jungle, I believe is the
Welcome
title.
to the jungle. Yes.
Yes.
But yeah, so I was about to say Vox Machina. Man, I am using so
No.
many old names.
Well, it was the year anniversary, so
Yeah. So the Mighty Nine are on a quest now to kind of figure out what the fuck is happening with Ford. From the beginning, Ford's been weird. He's had like some water stuff about him. Has a patron that has a big eye. Well, episode before this, we learned about Ukatoa, giant snake in the sea. Ukatoa. There's an island full of lizard folk and snake mutants. In this episode, we get to explore into that. So it starts out. They kind of just start walking into the jungle. They've been told to like be stealthy and avoid everything. Jumanji.
Which obviously they do. Like,
yeah, perfect.
It's the Mighty Nine. Of course they'll
I think the
fight everything.
first round of stealth checks weren't too bad.
No, they're doing great, and
Right.
Laura's
And-
still on her Pass Without a Trace game. Gotta keep that
Yup.
going.
And Caduceus talked to the plants to let them know that they were coming through.
That was really cool that he does that. Like he does
Like,
that
hey,
everywhere. He lets the
we're
horses
here.
know they're about to go. Talks to the trees.
I liked Ford being like, "Hey, can I do it too? Like, tell me." Like, well, just listen.
Yeah, like you just got.
Hear anything?
I did like that. It's
not
like, oh,
talking.
so that's good. That's good that you don't hear anything.
But like any sort of fun trek through the wilderness, you're gonna encounter some annoying things like bugs. And there are a lot of
Yeah.
bugs.
That
Bugs.
was
Which
that
Which
was a
would
fun little
not be
like side thing because bugs exist, but you don't ever think about them in like a D&D role playing game.
yeah.
How big are D&D mosquitoes, do you think?
Ooh, as long as they're mosquitoes and not like sturges, because that's the actual like bat thing that has a long
Yeah.
nose that'll latch
Yeah,
onto
please
you and
don't let
start.
that bite you.
Yeah, I think that they're probably like normal mosquitoes, but like normal jungle mosquitoes. So like you take the rainforest mosquitoes and you'd be like, boo,
Ew.
there you go.
Ew.
And it could be
Yeah,
like
not fun.
how isn't it like some fish? I think somebody was talking about this yesterday. Like can grow larger than most other of the same breed as long as the environment like will allow them to keep
Yeah.
growing. So like there
Yeah.
could be
Gross.
massive bugs.
Gross.
It's definitely possible. But one thing that Matt always does a really good job with is setting the mood. Because, like, if you're just walking through the jungle for a couple of hours, but, like, you're role-playing walking through the jungle, and you're just like, yeah, you get from point A to point B in the course of 3 hours. Well, mentally, as a player, you're sitting there for, like, 3 seconds as he describes this. But if he describes some of the struggles that those 3 hours bring, it gets your mindset for playing the character into something different. It makes you a little bit more irritable in character when you know that you've been dealing with bugs
And wet
and
socks.
and wet socks
Mhm.
and like heat exhaustion. When you think about that kind of stuff, it informs how you then play your character when you actually get to an RP moment.
Yeah.
Which Matt does a great job of doing that so that they know here's what your character should be feeling instead of being like your characters are super perky after 3 hours of walking through the jungle being bitten by mosquitoes. Like so.
Like sweat pulling up in weird areas.
Yeah, that dude was like, yeah, it's all sweaty under your leather armor, and I was like, ew, 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 ew.
It's like the only thing that I've ever worn cosplay wise are like bracers, like leather bracers. I could only take an hour of them. I'm like, no, this is bad.
Yeah. That was my arm that
Leather
I
is
wore.
warm.
The arm that I wore at New York Comic Con. Yeah, that was gross coming off, friends.
Yeah.
So yeah, they start heading out, and immediately they do what the Mighty Nine does, and just start questioning like everybody and everything. Like, are you sure, Jametti? Like, we're going the right way? You know, the guy who's sitting here beforehand to scout out the area that is now going to keep me safe getting to where we need to go. Are you sure this is the best way?
Yeah, like I feel like Sam forgot that like Jametti's already been through here because he was like grilling him, and I'm sitting here like, didn't he do the thing already where he's gone this way?
Yeah.
Like they have no reason to screw. They have no, from what we know, they have no reason to screw over Vox. Oh my God, this is your fault.
You doing it? I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah, you're not. They had no reason to screw over the Mighty Nine yet because they want something from them. They want to get to the temple. They have a common objective from all what we know.
And it's interesting later when Ford kind of saddles up to Avantika, and he like asks Matt, like, is it just her and Jametti that are here with us? And he's like, yeah, it's just them two. And it's like, okay, so this person, like, Avantika knows she could either whoop all their butts or has like a way of just getting out real quickly. Jametti is just, paid help from what it seems.
They come up to that first marker pretty quick, and she's like, no, you guys go. Jametti's staying here.
Yeah.
I thought that was a little interesting.
Yeah, okay.
The only person that Avantika actually cares about is Ford. So the rest of them can die by her standards, in my opinion, because Ford's the chosen one in her eyes.
But yet that first marker, they send Nott and Caduceus out to go scout, and they find a house, and it's like this
driftwood shack.
Yeah, a little shack, and they kind of go inside, and everyone is starting to like hoot or coo as the pigeons are like, don't go in there.
Because it's a driftwood shack in the middle of the jungle.
Yeah, why wouldn't you go in there?
Why not? I mean, last time they saw a shack was
not
orc,
a love shack.
It was an orc, wasn't it? Like a really cool orc that had like armor.
Yeah, the orc that that they really wanted to talk to for some reason.
Yeah. But yeah, so they
orc shack.
Caduceus.
Orc shack.
Oh god. It's just noun and then shack, and then you got the song. It's perfect.
Yep, there you go.
But yeah, they go in. They find Nott gets a magnifying glass. Always cool. Perfect for a detective. And then they find like a chest, and she inspects it for traps. There's no traps. She opens it, and it's trapped. she pulls out the little, and I like that Matt kind of focused on the description of the little rubies that like they're coin sized, like they're round and kind of thin, and then a little golden cobra head statue.
Yeah.
And then after that, it's a really neat sounding trap. I still don't really know how to picture it in my head, but there's like
I don't know,
trip
things go up.
Yeah,
it was something about the weight shifting.
She
and like something
pulled the stuff out. It
Yeah.
got pulled to the wall at a string, and then it released an urn.
Like the Indiana Jones thing, like it was holding the weight of mostly the golden snake head was holding the box in place, and when you take it out, the box went back.
And
so like you take it out, go woof, and then a bucket of poisonous snakes fell on them.
Snakes.
Well, snakes, but they were dead snakes.
Yeah, that was the best part.
We didn't know that. We didn't know they were dead snakes.
I kind of figured that they were when he said it, because I'm like, wait, there's no one here. It doesn't look like anything here. Why would there just be alive snakes in a box?
To trap people.
Because D&D.
It makes perfect sense that like anybody that has any sort of curiosity is gonna go in this place, be enticed by those little rubies and cobra statue, and then get a bunch of snakes poured on them, and you got meals for the next day.
Dustin makes a very good point in chat. Please remember to feed your traps.
Always. It's like there's an old puzzle that's like, do you want to pick door number 1 where there's this, door number 2 where there's this, or door number 3 where there's like a lion that hasn't been fed in like 3 years. Like the first pit's like a fire pit or something like that, and you always pick the lion because if it hasn't been fed in 3 years, it's probably dead.
Exactly.
So yeah, they that falls. It's kind of a comedic moment. It's real fun.
Yeah. It also foretells that lizards are better than snakes because
No.
Yep.
Ooh.
Snakes whoop all your asses.
No, I mean, I'm sorry, but lizards deserve to win.
I should have
here.
made a lizard one to like go in with.
Fight yourself.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anyway, so Knot finds 3 of these rubies and tries to confide in Clay to like, should we tell him? We don't have to tell him. And Clay's like, tell him what? They go back and Knot's like, oh, we found 2 rubies.
Instead of the 3 that they actually. I can't lie to your pretty eyes, Jester. Oh, Matt.
And they continue on.
Matt's playing with the snakes.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, Caduceus also mentions that they do have the Cobra head because Knot doesn't say that originally, and he's just like off the cuff. Oh yeah, there's that as well.
It goes great with the Cobra
He knows
head.
that he's getting on sale. Yeah.
We did miss the part. They did see on the ruby coins, for lack of what we're gonna call them, there were little scratch marks along it, like it was in something or it was tooled, so they could be keys to something. We don't know yet.
Immediate thoughts. What did you guys think of that? Like what?
I
could
thought it
these...
went in the snake's mouth, and like when Laura tried to feed the ruby to the snake and nothing happened, I was like, oh okay.
Did the snake's statue have eyes? I'm wondering if those were supposed to be for the eyes.
They said that the statue was only like 3 inches tall or something, so I don't think a coin size ruby would.
I feel like you're on the right track though. I feel like they could be inlays.
I definitely think it could be eyes,
later.
just not for that. I don't think it's for that little thing. I think it's for later on when they're in the temple.
But
Interesting thought that I saw.
You think they're gonna remember?
I think they're not gonna be able to forget about that because it was such a little
no.
detail, and that they're just gonna like, what are these for? Because at the end of the episode, Laura was like, "What are the rubies for? Where do they go? They're keys for something."
Well, it'd be great when they're nothing and it's just a red herring.
Right. The other thing that I saw is that they could be Neverwinter Fool is saying it in chat. They could be some kind of lenses, so they could go into something for you to be able to like see in red scale. To maybe
something for 3 eyes.
Yeah, or maybe there's multiple sets, or for all your like snake hands to see the same thing too.
Are you gonna do the entire thing with snakes on your hands?
I'm gonna try.
Until you get too sweaty and you have to take them off.
It's just like the leather.
Anyway, then you get the little weird thing where Knot's like, should we tell Avantika that we have that letter of hers? Which didn't make a lot of sense to bring up, but I like that Bo's like, never tell someone you stole their mail.
Bo wouldn't know anything about that.
Not at all.
Not at all.
Resident mail stealer.
And then this is where you get the Ford and Avantika moment where Ford realizes that she's all alone, and she's like, well, what does she say before she does the boop?
Well, she said first she talks about like he's like the crew is super faithful to you, and she's like, yeah, the crew better have faith. They're like, when they're linked to their god, and that they all have a varying degree in belief, but she thinks they're all pretty tight, and that they've seen her kill like 50 dudes.
Yeah. And he's like, well, she says like, this dagger will find this
blade will find your heart faster than anything you've ever seen or something. I was like, whoa, I love her.
Let's hope it doesn't come to that. And then
I wonder how much of her is talk though.
I love her.
I'm afraid she could
She
be.
is not all talk. She's gonna stab some bitches.
I'm not saying
she's wonderful.
I'm not saying she's all talk, but I'm wondering how much she's trying to play this up to appeal to Ford, because I feel like she might think that he's also a chosen, and that like at the end, if it comes down to it, if only one of them can like have a power or something, I'm not sure.
It's possible, but
there's a lot of different things.
I think
that's my tinfoil hat theory.
I think she might be lonely. In that whole idea that people in power are kind of the loneliest people because they don't have anyone to commiserate with or anyone who understands that. And here she has someone who she said she hasn't met someone else in a really long time who has had this kind of power or had this kind of calling.
And she said she's cut down others that have tried to like.
Right, who's tried to take it, but here she's faced with someone again who has it already. So who knows? It could be fun. I like her. I love her. I can't wait to make her my overlord.
So they progress, and this is where we kind of get more focus on the bugs. And Matt lets this little tidbit go that I don't know if he thought anybody was going to catch on to it, but Taliesin is just so quick. Somebody asks Jamedi about the bugs, and he says, I didn't find any problem before. Perhaps they enjoy your flavors more. And Taliesin, like, immediately catches it, and he's like, wait, they're not bugging him at all? I'm going to go ahead and do, and he does one of his abilities, Eyes of the Grave, which you get at level 1 as a Grave Knowing Cleric.
Whoa.
And it lets you kind of see the presence of undead within 60 feet of you, and you can do it a number of times equal to your wisdom. And Matt, I thought it was going to be a whisper, but I'm so glad he didn't, because it, like, put everyone else on edge. He gets a little undead vibe from Jamedi. And so what is it?
So that brings up one of our questions that we got via our question sheet we put out each week. This one comes from Useless Rogue. What is up with Jumanji Casco? Is he like Robert and only mostly dead? Is he Dracula dead and loving it? Is he like Oswald Oswald and paused in the midst of his last breath? Well, there's so many choices. And then a second question came in very much similar, but didn't have a name attached to it. So what type of undead does everyone think Jamedi is? Revenant searching for specific ancient ruins? Not quite where I think we're going with it. We were having discussion earlier. I think Mr. Jamedi Casco could be a lingering soul, my friends.
Yeah. So the Revenant thing, I think, is an easy probably not, because Revenants like have a single purpose to get the one that like killed them, essentially. They can always like pinpoint where they are, so I don't see why a Revenant would like be an adventurer still and like do contract work kind of like this.
Yeah, that makes the most sense. And then also with the just overall, it doesn't really fit his character, what he's trying to do and just trying to get by.
Yep. So for those not familiar, Matt Mercer put out a class not too long ago called the Lingering Soul. It's an optional class or death alternative for 5th edition. So I think this might be an appearance of that class.
Yeah, so Lingering Souls, the gist of it is you die, but you're not finished on the world. Could be vengeful spirit, could be you have this one thing you gotta finish, but for whatever reason you're not able to cross planes. And so you're just a soul, and you can latch onto things and eventually full-on possess bodies. So it's like...
Which is pretty cool.
Yeah, and later on, and we can just start jumping around at this point, the first night that they sleep here, Jumanji and Jester have a little talk, and Jester finds out that Jamedi has worked with Avantika once before. And then she's like, what's the weirdest thing you've ever seen? And Jamedi goes on about how he was the lone survivor in some sort of mine expedition in the northern part of the land. So that's kind of like, what happened in that mine, sir? Did you die? Is this your original body? Who is your daddy and what does he do?
Playing off what not later posed and what other people have been bringing up. You know, did something happen on this island and now a spirit has attached itself to him? Or did he die here and now has gone to bring other people back to this island as sacrifices or something? There's so many choices!
Yeah.
I'm going with Lingering Soul.
Now, are you going with that that Jameti is a lingering soul, or that this person, Jamedi, has a lingering soul attached to him? Because
I don't know.
That's the one I'm on.
Weighing.
I don't feel like we have enough information right now. Obviously, we can speculate, but
right.
I feel like next episode we're gonna get a lot more. Because spoilers, not really. They make it to the temple, so
they don't die.
Yeah, well, so they're gonna see more of Avantika and Jamedi now with them because they won't be splitting up halfway through the episode, because they're gonna be in the temple, and I feel like that's gonna come up more, especially now that they have a hunch that he is not what he seems.
What do we think about the vampire option? Because I forget that vampires are undead.
But they were out in the sun.
Oh, that's very true. I mean, you don't burn up, do you? You just have sunlight sensitivity.
Right, but I don't think you would. Don't you have like a perception problem? Like you get, is it? That would be a really thing for your scout. If your scout has some problems with the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A B C D E H I J O Q Z.
Jake in chat recommends sunscreen as the reason there is no problem.
More like
perfect.
sunscreen.
Thanks, Jake. Oh, Matt, get out.
Goodbye.
See ya, you're fired.
Sunlight sensitivity. Never mind. They take 20 radiant damage whenever it starts in sunlight, so that probably wouldn't be him.
So I don't think he's a vampire. I think there's something going on with the lingering soul. I think there's one in him. I don't think he is the lingering soul. I think there's a soul like piggybacking on him.
I think he got to the tower, something attached onto him, and so now once they go down there and whatever ritual starts happening, that soul's gonna like, surprise! I'm gonna hijack everything.
They lured him here. The soul was like, we're gonna bring him back to this place, bud. And then here I got you all these little peoples to sacrifice.
And just to go super tinfoil, okay, Jametti talked about how he wasn't really a fighter, that he's kind of just a scout. And then as soon as the combat started, just jumping around more, he kind of like yelped a bit and shot his crossbow. So one of the things of the lingering soul is you can temporarily like force the body you're possessing to make an attack roll. And then after this encounter, he wants to like stay with the Mighty Nine. So maybe he's like freaked out, like, oh, something's here, or something made me do that. I want to sleep with you guys.
I'm liking it.
True.
I think we're getting there. My friends. I think we're getting there.
And I'd be interested. You said that it might be something that's lingering, like the lingering soul attached to him is from the temple when he like had gone there the first time. I want to know more about the mine incident because that was a very specific story. And I want to know if that is actually what happened and that whatever is attached to him from those mines actually wanted him to come back down here.
Maybe he's like Bruce Willis in Unbreakable.
Yeah.
That's it. We got it. Case
I
closed.
don't know what that is.
Yeah, he's King Sunday says so he has a Voldemort on him? Absolutely.
Yes! On the back of his head, you're going to pull off his helmet, and there's going to just be
there's gonna be
face of Ralph
a
Fiennes.
face without a nose for some reason. Anyway, so hopping back in. Immediately after this, the first part where Caduceus discovers that he gets an undead vibe from Jametti, Matt has them all roll Constitution saving throws, which we're assuming are from all the bug bites. Everybody announces what they rolled, and then Matt just moves on. So it's like, what was it? And they're like, he cast an undead spell on us. So something happened that we find out later. But we'll just keep going. So Caduceus lets Ford know. Wait, what?
Then we just keep going.
Yeah. They didn't tell him then, so we're not going to say what happened. Caduceus gets over to Ford and says that Jametti's not quite alive, and I think this is where he's accidentally giving themselves a red herring. Because maybe not quite alive is different than an undead vibe.
Yes.
I don't know.
Not quite dead.
Yeah. No, he said he's not quite alive.
I know.
Yeah, I wonder.
Dead.
I wonder sometimes.
Only mostly dead.
I wonder sometimes how they spread information, especially with NPCs that are super close. They seem to forget their bearings a lot. Like it's kind of crazy how sometimes we'll just be talking about very specific matters like the dodecahedron in front of other people.
Mm-hmm. Or how like one person will be talking to an NPC and someone else will just chime in like, "Oh yeah, I'm here now."
Yeah.
And they're like really perceptive NPCs too, especially with Avantika around.
Yeah.
Like, guys.
You've got this like badass captain who you can't lie to. She sees right through everything. She's gonna hear. And then you've got this guy whose job is to scout, to be unseen, but to hear everything and just gather information. Like, come on, friends. They know all your secrets. They know your mother's names.
Whoa.
Right.
Juniper.
I don't know.
Meanwhile, in the background, Marisha and Travis really want to open that box of Turkish delights.
Because a witch gave it to them. Now they have to forsake their siblings.
Yes. And so the next big thing that happens is we kind of meet the denizens of this island. After not in Jester like distract
Not
with
just
a dance.
with a little...
They do their dance, their like morale raising dance. They hear some snaps in the forest, or not forest, jungle. And Jimeti tells them to like be quiet and then send 2 people up. I don't know if those are the actual hand signals. I don't know. But this is through this whole thing, Jimeti's like, we're gonna avoid these things. We don't want any altercations. And immediately Bo's like, all right, we're gonna flank around when we see 4 lizards.
You two,
go that way. You 2 go that way. And we'll just, can't even get into position. And these 4 lizard folk are waylaid by Yuan Ti of all different kinds. You've got the 2 snake hands. Yes, I already took them off because it got warm fast. You've got some that look more humanoid and just have scales.
And yellow eyes, I think.
Yellow slitted eyes, yeah.
And then, was there one more? Was there one that had the snake head?
I think it was just those.
Nope,
no,
just
I don't think that.
3.
Yeah, I don't think they saw any that actually had full snake heads.
But yeah, so this is our first encounter of lizards v snakes. And
Snakes!
Snakes took this one.
They did, but lizards just weren't ready. They, honestly, the lizards team need to get their heads back into it because they're losing right now.
Now, what would you say are the lizard folks' main strength? So one cool thing in
dying
in D&D. Okay. Oh, wow. Lizard folk.
I'm here to combat Kate.
Lizard folk are really cool to play in D&D. Like I have one for one shot, and they can bite people and get temporary hit points from it. They have a swim speed. And a real cool thing that they could do is basically make a weapon out of anything. So like they kill something, they could just real quick salvage bones and like make a new sword, make a new spear. So they're super resourceful. But the snakes...
And also weird.
Well, yeah. But then the snakes just, they have snake arms.
Venomous snake arms!
Yeah. Like, I'm gonna slap you and poison you.
I'm gonna bite you with my hands.
Yeah. But they can't.
With my 5-foot arms.
That are also snakes.
That are snakes.
That's gotta be annoying, though.
How do you eat with your mouth when you don't have
Maybe you
hands?
don't. Maybe you just eat with your hands.
Aha!
And they just eat. They
you
just
can't play
eat.
with
You
your
don't have to
food.
bring anything.
I mean, normal snakes don't just play with their food; they just digest them.
That's true.
Yeah, so maybe they just he just eats with his hands, and you don't have to eat with his mouth. He just literally goes chomp, chomp,
Are they
chomp,
like full?
and then you don't have to do anything.
Are they?
Wait, no, they don't even chomp. They just go whack, and then after a couple of hours of swallowing, it looks like they have big biceps, but really that's just something.
It's just what they ate.
It's just the rats. It's
Yep.
just the rats.
It's just leftovers.
Exactly.
Man,
Guys, it went right to my biceps.
he's gonna say that. Oh boy. It makes it like,
Okay.
are they actual? Like, are they their own thinking heads, or
No, I
do
don't
they
think
have
so.
eyes, or just are
Yeah.
they snake?
No, they're probably just and
But they have
I
tiny
know that was
little
just
brains and the big brain,
I don't
supersedes it.
I don't think so. I think that it's just they're just all for one brain.
Matt, ask
Useless
your
Rogue
snake
says.
I
Useless
I
Rogue
gave
says
them
in
up.
chat, can you imagine how much they have to poop feeding with 3 mouths? And I counteract that with I think they all have one intestinal tract that all
Yeah.
goes
Yeah,
Just go to one.
they don't have
So-
3 butts.
because they don't. I don't think they have to don't have to feed 3 times as much. They just need to. They just have 3 different ways of feeding.
Biology.
One hand, face. I'm glad we got on this topic,
Yeah.
guys.
Let's get
It's
off
an important topic. How do the snake men eat?
See, but the next part's great because Jester takes it to the next level that I wasn't even thinking about. It's like,
I was.
What? Oh, I was thinking about that one, but the first one, like, well, could you imagine if the snakes were his legs? How would he move? I'm just like picturing like womp 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 womp. Do you just like scoot around or like crab walk everywhere?
But what if you like? Wouldn't you have like a snake lower body? You would hope, not like two actual snake heads for legs.
No, snake heads.
Snake heads.
Snakes.
All five.
Snakes are
All
very-
limbs are snake heads.
You said all 5. Where's that other one?
Listen.
God.
Listen.
My
The regular
anaconda
head.
don't want none unless you got fuzz, hun.
Oh.
The snakes seem to be very prevalent on this island because that's not the snake people aren't the only kind of snakes we see here.
Truth.
So we have the panther, the panther
Yeah.
snake, the snake panther
So the group.
thing.
Yeah.
So they decide to get to a camping spot for the night, and they cast the hut, and they're talking, and they're setting up, and they're trying to convince Avantika and Jametti to get in the hut, and Avantika's like, sure, and Jametti's like, no. So that happens. But then for some reason our two fine clerics decide to go
Yeah. Like let's have a little walk.
decide to go for a walk
They weren't tired
while
yet.
everybody else is sleeping during the first watch. And
They weren't sleeping just yet. They were bedding down.
Yeah.
well, no, there were some of them that were sleeping because there were some that were asleep during that battle. Avantika was asleep.
She got put to sleep.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she and
the
Jester
battle.
got put to sleep.
Yeah, so Caduceus and Jester are walking about. Everyone is just kind of like getting stuff ready, fluffing out pillows, putting them everywhere. I don't think anybody has actually gone to sleep. They're all like getting
Right.
ready to sleep. But yeah, it doesn't. Thinking back on it, it's probably not the best idea to like throw light spells out when you're in the middle of a forest because you're gonna attract stuff
Like more bugs.
or giant ass panther snakes, pythonthers as I call them,
Pythonthers.
Or more bugs.
or more
I
bugs.
said that.
You gotta say it twice.
Don't like
There's so
the
many
bugs.
bugs.
Yeah, no, because
There's
the bugs
that
are the
many
important-
bugs.
Yeah, there are that many bugs. So
But yeah, so Caduceus gets just tackled by a giant shadow, and all he sees are, 2 white fangs, and then a bunch of other heads. And I'm thinking there's another UNT type where it's literally a giant snake with like 5 other snakes around its head and still
I
arms.
thought
It was
I
Vera.
thought it was a Medusa. Like that was my first thought when I heard about it. Was, is this a Medusa? And is he gonna have to start making con saves because to try not to be petrified? Because that would be
Yep.
quite awful in their current
Yeah.
circumstances.
But I think this could be... No, I guess being turned to stone is kind of bad. But it turns out to be I don't know how to say it, Kamadan?
Kamadan.
Kamadan.
Wait.
Kamadan.
Oh,
Where's the little button?
Kai-
Isn't there like a press the
Kai-
button and it tells you how to say it on D&D Beyond anymore?
I don't
it's
have that.
Kaimadan. It's
Kaimadan?
Kaimadan. Based on this Forgotten Realms wiki that FMA 245 put in chat, and I'm looking at the thing. It's pronounced like Chimera. So
Oh, that would
it's
make sense.
Kaimadan. We got it.
Well, cool.
Ca-
Panther
case
with a
closed.
bunch of snakes.
Yes, case closed.
Case so closed. This thing's not nice at all. They are just ferocious hunters.
They're nasty.
I just love the idea of a D&D designer is just like, what if but snakes?
Why not add snakes?
It's like, I like
Snakes.
this, but what if snakes?
Snakes make everything cooler.
So you say we have too many snakes on this island, but what if we don't?
Well, like, what if we just don't call them snakes? We'll call them panthers, but we'll put the snakes on the panthers. Nobody's gonna see that coming.
Like, where do they even grow out of? That's like I'm looking at the picture of it. That doesn't. How is it coming out of their shoulder blades? I don't understand it.
Oh, looking at Tomb of Annihilation, it's Kamadan. Or Kamadan? I don't know. Let's see. They resemble a leopard with snakes protruding from its shoulders.
But like looking at the picture, like you can't even see the shoulders. It's just snakes.
It's just snakes. It doesn't make sense. Maybe it's like a symbiotic relationship where like they're parasites.
All right, now which one of those heads eat?
Yes.
Okay, we're gonna
All of
skip the
them.
biology section. They fight two of these things, and they're nasty. They've got this sleeping breath, which is why. Like, why does this thing have that? You've already given a panther 6 heads that are snakes. Let's also let it put things to sleep. And it does. Jester gets knocked out. One is still on top of Caduceus, and that's where we get our first combat of the battle.
Can I just say that I'm pretty amused by the fact that when you look up the beast and it says actions, multi-attack, bite, claw, snakes.
Yeah.
Like,
I could use my claws, but I think I'll attack with snakes. Yeah, but so this combat is particularly important because Avantika joins in the battle, and she attacks, and she has an extra attack. So
yeah.
last time we were thinking about what class is Avantika, and we were thinking swashbuckler because pirate, warlock because Ford's a warlock. But now, with the
Not
knowledge,
either of those.
yeah, now that we know it's that she has extra attack, neither of those classes get that. Unless we
However,
multi-class.
there are a couple of options still.
Yeah. So option number 1, Kate.
Option number 1 is the one that I am leaning towards. Well, I kind of keep going back and forth. However, I think she could be an Eldritch Knight fighter. I think that'd be pretty darn cool. Especially because with Eldritch Knights, when you look it up, the thing you get at 3rd level is Weapon Bond. And she's pretty damn protective about that dagger that she's got.
Yar.
Yar indeed.
I think it's a possibility.
Yep. The second one is that she's possibly a blood hunter. Order of the Profane Soul. So Profane Soul blood hunters kind of have warlocky flavor. You do get a patron. You do benefit from them. Most importantly, you can cast spells. And if she's at least level 7, she has 2nd level spells, meaning that she can cast invisibility, like we saw her did. There are a bunch of other ones that she could, or like different options as far as what your patron is, like Archfey, Fiend, Great Old One, Undying, and Celestial. That I have no idea. Could be Great Old One.
Yeah, I had Great Old One. I don't think it's Hexblade, but I think it could be Great Old One given Ukatoa.
Given Ukatoa and her ability to like see through lies, one of your
Right.
revealed arcana you get at 7th level is the ability to cast Detect Thoughts. So she
Right.
could just be doing that on anybody she questions.
So yeah,
My curiosity is if she is multi-classed, like how high of levels is she? If she's a 7th level warlock, but then also something else.
Yeah. Well, and it's again, she opted to go on this island with 1 person that she knew and 7 that she doesn't. So she's got to be super confident in her abilities to get out of any situation or be able to take them down like one by one. Or she has an entire fleet of invisible people behind her that'll like jump out at any moment. Who knows what her
she's gonna charm the snake people and have them eat everybody
a
else.
snake charmer. Yeah, so what do we have? Has Matt revealed Ava's class on Twitter? I don't think she has, FMA.
Nope.
If she has, could somebody link out?
I have been looking. I have not seen anything. They did say Warlock on the Critical Role wiki, but I don't, as we said, I don't think that's right.
Yeah. Because 5th level, you'd have to at least be a 5th level like fighter or something else that gets extra attack, because that's when you get it. So it's possible she started off as 5th level like fighter and then took some classes in Warlock, but she got her patronage, her little hand-eye coordination up.
Because she probably would have had to be something pretty far in to be able to even like be able to do what she's done. Like obviously as a 1st level, she's pretty high up like in the pirate chain, and she would have had to have some skills already before having this patron to be able to be that high up.
True.
That soon.
And she said she's killed like 50 men, so you gotta be pretty strong. 50. Well, she stopped counting at 50.
Yeah.
Still, she's gotta be something big. She's gotta be
Probably
Also,
like,
gotta be strong.
We don't know what kind of elf she is either. Just throwing that out.
Yeah, you were hoping sea elf.
I hope she's a sea elf. I know she's not blue or green, but she's kind of, Matt describes her as tan or darker skin. I still think it'd be pretty damn cool if she's a sea elf, because we haven't seen them yet.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why she speaks French, because he said au revoir. I'm like, what language is that one?
Yeah, is that
Could it be Aquan? It is now Aquan.
It's Aquan.
Useless Rogan on Twitch says some people don't find their calling until later in life.
It's true.
That's a good statement because it's funny. But carry on.
Yeah. Let's see. So combat ends. We only get to, I don't even think she gets to really attack, does she? Because she gets put to sleep as well. Avantika. And
Yeah, she was asleep for most of it, I think, which is unfortunate.
But Yasha gets one kill. Ford did not get the other. We discover that her rapier. She's got two weapons that gave off magic earlier: the rapier and the dagger. The rapier is just a regular +1.
Which is why, and she's super protective about that other dagger. So I think that's why I'm leaning towards Eldritch.
You think that's her pact or her bonded weapon?
Yeah.
Could be. Meanwhile, Jester teaches Jamedi about the Traveler and their final, home stretch of their watch. And that is when lizard people come and start, tapping on the orb. And, what is this? I sniff it. I smell it. Something's in here. We should come back later. Make a note.
Throw a rock at it and it bounces off.
Go lizard people.
Yeah, smart lizard people. Yeah, they know something's in there. They just don't know how to get in it, and they're going to come back. That's
Bet
super
snake
resourceful.
people could get in.
No.
But yeah, so they go to break, they come back, and they've reached new ruins. What are some of the other things that we wanted to kind of touch on? We've got Avantika's class. Oh,
Jester's little story about the weirdest thing ever she's seen.
Yeah, that came out of nowhere.
Me.
So
Jamedi, what's the weirdest thing you've ever done? Well, I died. All these people died in a mine, and I'm the only one who survived. What's the weirdest thing you've ever seen? A bug that carried a piece of bread that was 5 times its size up the steps.
Because it went up and then across and up and across.
Where does
the subway
where
pizza
does Laura come up with this kind of stuff?
I don't know, but the fact that it broke Travis to the degree it did, relationship goals. That's all I can say. He is so amused by her, and I love it.
Yeah. It's funny because Jester is so different than Vex from the first campaign when it comes to how they talk to people. Vex was pretty much always super serious or sarcastic, while Jester's always sincere and always out
Off
there.
the wall.
Yeah. It's pretty great.
It's the best. So next day they're heading towards, they find new ruins. Bo is showing signs of illness because Caduceus kind of pressed it.
Got
what's
malaria.
wrong? I didn't write down the specific symptoms she was showing. I don't know if anybody else did.
I think it was clammy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sweating.
Very sweaty.
Yeah.
Just don't feel good.
Yeah.
It's rough
And she
morning.
kept
denying,
no, don't check me, don't look at me, don't blah 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 blah.
Fine.
Yeah. And so Caduceus kind of brings her in, I want you to take this. Just look at it. Bam! Cast Lesser Restoration.
Yeah.
But there's no effect, because it's a disease.
Wow.
Matt tells her that there is a disease taking hold, and everyone's like, wait, what? So going back, this is probably what the Constitution save was, and I guess she was the only one that failed. Or maybe she's just the first one to show symptoms because she's a human.
Yeah. Disease is a very interesting tool to use in D&D from what I've seen because it's not always remembered by a lot of newer DMs, but disease can fuck up your party if you're in a place for too long, especially if you're not in a place that you can get actual help. Obviously, they have 2 clerics. They should be fine. But imagine a party of 4 that doesn't have, a cleric.
You're stuck with that.
Lesser Restoration does not cure disease. It's blinded, deafened, paralyzed, or poisoned.
Yeah, it cures those conditions, not a disease.
It does say you can either one disease or condition, though.
Ooh, interesting.
No,
I'm sure
I don't know.
Matt is going to be getting a
Maybe
lot
Matt skipped
of
that.
tweets.
He probably just read the condition part.
Or maybe it's something that,
or maybe it is
specifically says has to be lesser restoration or greater restoration or higher.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Infect a
I'm
creature can end either one disease or one condition affecting it.
Interesting.
It also he might kind of retcon it and say it slowed it down. Like it didn't automatically cure it, but it could be like a who knows. Not sure.
All I know is that he probably got
Their
a
game.
lot of tweets about it.
Whatever.
When
She's
not
got
there-
malaria. Magic malaria. Too bad.
Magic
about
malaria.
it.
Yeah, I like what Uncle Mook said in chat. It may be something more like a curse.
Could
Yeah.
be. Could be.
That could be
be.
interesting.
But
She
yeah.
got the snick malaria.
Yeah. But now she's got disadvantage on con saves moving forward. Maybe it'll oh god, what's the word? Like
Yeah.
worsen. There's a word. Progress. That's my hand motion for progress and the sound. Okay. Moving on.
Crap sign.
They get to like the main snake village that they want to be in, where the temple is. And they see like a bunch of snakes. And they're like, all right, what are we going to do? And Avantika and Jametti are like, bye, we got this.
Peace.
Out.
Peace out.
She like
I'll
does
meet you
the
there.
piece and like disappears.
Au revoir.
Yeah.
Again, what are you speaking?
But like they don't
Language.
see her move at all because she's invisible. And then Jametti's like, also bye. And he just runs off into the wood very quickly. So that's why some people were thinking maybe he's a vampire because he moves fast. But also sunlight, so never mind. Vampire's gone. They leave the Mighty Nine to their own devices, which isn't always great.
When is it good?
Although this turned out pretty awesome because they learned a damn lesson in keeping your mouth
They
shut.
did. So not eventually learns that Jametti is undead, and she's like, what if he was alive when he got here and then killed, and now he's bringing us back? And Avantika kind of chimes in, and she's like, oh, I didn't know that. And like, what the fuck, you're here?
Yeah, I didn't leave. I just wanted to hang out,
Yeah.
visible, and see what you guys do. Like, coolest.
Yeah, coolest
I love her.
person ever. But
Please don't kill
Avantika claims to not be aware that Jametti was undead, and nobody checked her, because I guess why would you check that?
How would it be a disadvantage if you're trying to insight if an invisible person is lying to
Oh,
you?
totally, because you can't see facial expressions. You can't see
Yeah,
them
all
like
you have
look
to go-
down or like touch
Yeah.
the ear.
All you can really see is you can't even see tone of voice. I'm dead. All right, moving on.
Can't see tone of voice, no,
Nope.
unless you have that condition, synesthesia or whatever it's called. But yeah,
Right. Synesthesia, is that it?
yeah, something like that.
Something like that.
And this actually brings up a good point, and thank you FMA for saying it. Group of gossips said
Yeah.
by Clay.
So Clay, that was kind of the other one that we had, the other question. In the
Yeah, the
forum.
other question is, again, no name on this one, but this episode seemed to carry on the theme of Mr. Clay not having a very good day. Snake drags, disturbing undead companion, gossipy friends. What are everyone's thoughts on the darker side of Caduceus we are starting to see?
So who wants to go first?
I don't think it's a darker side of Caduceus. I think it's a, oh shit, what did I get myself into side.
Yeah, this is just like they're gonna hit that moment where it's like the freeze frame, like, "Hi, I'm Caduceus Clay." You're probably wondering how I got in this situation. It all started when I packed my bags.
It all started when I heard a knock at the door.
Yeah, but he's super uneasy because not only has he found out that his friends, or the people that he thinks are his friends, can't keep a secret and gossip a lot, but also he kind of reveals to us that he's very uneasy with an undead companion person walking around. Because we saw him react to Ford's feature where he can like make a specter, and now
Yeah.
he's like got something with an undead vibe, and it's really creeping him out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm wondering if there's more to Caduceus Clay than he's said, based on because he's a grave domain cleric. I understand that like they think that dead people should be in the ground in their graves, but is undead really that frightening to a cleric?
What I think it is the transition from living to not living. They kind of think that, or their whole philosophy is that like it needs to happen. And so when something breaks that progression from living to death and becomes undead, they're like, this is a no-no. We need to fix this and not let this
Right.
happen.
Yeah.
So I don't think he's afraid of it. He's just like, that's not normal. I don't like this. This is not how things should go. Especially with him, he's kind of into the more nature side of it, of things dying, decomposing, and then like giving life to other things.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting though because he and technically Jester have the most resources to deal with that. I feel like if you know you have resources to deal with something, I almost feel like it's more of like a floaty sort of sense. Like he's actually like he knows that he has spells that could deal with turn undead. So I'm wondering why. Like I feel like just as me, if I were a cleric and I'm not a cleric, it would give me a little bit more sense of like, oh, I know how to deal with this.
But he's never really encountered it before.
Yeah.
Until he started going out of his graveyard. In his graveyard, everything was dead. It stayed dead. It turned it into tea. He wasn't dealing with undead and things of an unnatural origin.
We know of. And that's where my tinfoil hat going on is. I'm wondering if there are things that he hasn't said dealing with undead that like it's why he's freaking out so much.
Well,
I'm wondering if
that
there's
is
something in his past.
One thing, when he cures things and heals things, the very first time he did it, there was the imagery of like the pink moth growing over the wound and then falling off, and it was healed. And then all of his pink hair, somebody had asked at a convention like if there was any correlation between that, and he's like, there is. Good job catching it. So maybe something like brought him back. I don't know. I want to learn. I want Clay to live long enough so he can learn.
If Pelton had 2 characters die in one campaign, I'd be sad.
It would suck. But like, if he could one up Molly so hardcore, like what was he gonna do next? Are we just gonna like Clay who when he brings his next one? Anyway, if he kills one of these snake people, is it gonna be Yuan T? TEA?
Wah, wah.
Wah.
Matt, I already told you you're fired.
Yeah, y'all did get a petition going and it passed, whatever. So they kind of get into the city by using disguises. Either magical or really poor face paint, turning Yasha completely green.
One of the face paints came out good. Both came out really well.
The other one,
not so much.
Not so much.
Yeah, the other one's not great at all.
Bo's was good. Caleb's was meh. Yasha's was oh dear God.
Mm-hmm. But they start making it through the city. They all roll stealth checks. Jester has to do some performance checks because of her one.
She rolled one.
Or deception checks, not performance. Of course, them being the Mighty Nine, they get caught a couple times.
Yep.
And they like panic because they don't have a plan. It was literally like, this is gonna work. We're gonna be disguised. We're gonna go. No, they get caught by 2 guards and spoken to. If they apparently speak Abyssal, and they just like panic, hold person. Are we gonna tie him up in the street? Are we gonna take him into a building? Tie him up in the street. Take him into the building. Let's take him into the building. Okay, tie him up. Just kidding.
Because they did hold person in the middle of the street.
In the middle of the day. In the middle of the street.
See, this is where they don't really think.
It's fun though. It's great story.
It's fun.
Yes.
But yeah, they take him into the house that they think is empty and start tying him up, but just murdering's faster. And so they do that. And then the other one that lives in the house that was asleep wakes up. And I'm like, oh god, magic murder. But it got a yelp out before then, and then they see this big, muscular, like, thick snake man.
Thick with
2 C's. Yeah. Start heading to the scene because he heard something. And I'm like, okay, what's the next plan? They've probably gone through, like, A through H. So plan I is doing major image in the middle of town and have a manticore. And I'm like, okay, this is good. This is a good thing you did. You should have led with that. Maybe not.
I wouldn't lead with that, but I would have had that happen at some point before you killed someone.
3 someones. But yeah, so the whole town kind of just starts attacking this thing in the air. Eventually they realize that it's fake, but not before the Mighty Knight has made it to the stairs to be caught one more time by like an older snake man that Ford poofs up and Sparta kicks off.
Yes.
And like clumps down, and they still firebolt him because double tap. But yeah, they finally make it to the top, the zenith of this pyramid, this 5-point pyramid. And they find a slab that is covered in several shades, probably of red, because it's a sacrificial table. Because why wouldn't there be at the top of a pyramid? And they kind of like, Matt's like, you gotta go, because they figured out that this thing's, you start hearing hissing and snake sounds coming up the stairs. Which, how does that sound? Why would they make stairs if they're still snake people?
Some of them still have legs, Matt. Some
But
of them
like,
still
maybe
have
they
legs.
could have like, this is only the cool snakes can come up on this side. Like, you leggies have to go over there and walk up that side.
You leggies.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's like the new Dragonborn tail versus no tails, legs versus no legs.
Yeah. Oh, one quick thing that I skipped by. Rewinding back real quick because I have a question. So, combat, when Caduceus gets tackled, we went way back. He bonus action wakes up the beetles in his staff. So is that like a separate magic item? I thought that was for whatever reason like Grave Cleric feat or like some sort of flavor to a spell. Is that like?
No, I think
There's infestation, isn't there?
I mean, there is, but if there is, Matt let him cast 2 spells in one turn because he did that and then he did Vampire Touch. So I was wondering, is it like a magic item that actually has beetles in it that he can like make them do the infestation cantrip attack?
Or Matt just forgot that he went back to the real
I
roll.
think it's a magic item.
Okay.
And the reason I think it is because when he came in, level 6, into the party, and usually they have to have some sort, like all the other characters have magic items by that. So it makes sense for Matt to be like, you have a magic item. What do you think that this would be? And he's like, I have the staff. Makes sense to me.
Semi-possible.
Yeah, I like it. I thought that was interesting because I always thought it was just flavor to all his, like, I have a bug bite my finger and I use this attack. I didn't know it was like they're actual bugs.
Yeah.
Oh, we've got a thing that I'm gonna click on. There is a staff of bugs in the DM's guide. The bug cloud is an attack.
There's a staff of swarming insect.
Fun.
Cool.
Okay. While holding the staff, you can use an action to expend some of its charges. You can cast Insect Plague. Okay. That's the thing. Oh, probably not that thing. That's a 5th level spell. I don't think they have those yet. That's a pretty big item if they have that. Anyway, moving on. End of the episode.
Moving back to the future.
Back to the future. They search around. They find a trapdoor that they need to get through. But, of course, it's locked. And Matt describes it as like something's got a really long key.
Like a bone key.
Like a bone key. With a bunch of little prongs that'll knock all the tumblers, but not able with her.
It's the ruby.
With her 20. Yeah, that's a coin drop. Not able to fiddle around with it. She rolls a 26. Is able to open it. Matt says, I like the imagery that Matt's like, you have to use all of your tools. So it's just this like little keyhole, but with just a bunch of little metal things sticking out of it. She just click. They rush inside, and conveniently, Jametti just happens to crest over the side. And he's like, oh, good, you're here. Let's go in. And Bo kind of...
convenience.
Yeah, Bo kind of berates them, like, where's Avantika? Well, I don't know. Bullshit. And they kind of roll insight to see if that's true.
Whisper time!
Yeah, Caduceus gets a whisper.
Because Caduceus is so insightful.
Insightful AF. So what did you guys think it was? Kate, what were you saying?
I just honestly think it was, you see dust moving over there or something, and he was able to see that Avantika was up there.
Yeah, that makes the most sense. I don't
know. I feel like that would almost be a perception check.
Yeah, but I think he was rolling to figure the insight on him, but I think Matt gave it to him because he rolled so high. And because of his passive,
yeah, he could have been like,
perception.
You don't get the idea. I mean, you see he's not lying, but you also, with your passive perception, see some footprints moving around. So it's possible Avantika was with the party the entire time and like saw them do all the things they did.
Well, she said she was at the top waiting or something like that.
But they didn't check that.
But they didn't check it. They don't insight check her. And it's
they
amazing.
never do.
It's like the hell out of each other.
It's my
not
favorite
this person
thing.
who could be a big bad potentially.
Yeah, and they assume the worst about everybody, but never check them. But yeah, they get in, and Indiana Jones style, going down a spiral staircase.
Because, sorry, go ahead.
Is checking for traps, but she doesn't roll too high. Trips one, and like in true cliche fashion, the stairs kind of just turn into a slide, and they. It's not that long of a fall, but we get to the bottom where there is like a fountain with 3 snaky figures around it, one of which is like a jet black gray cobra.
No. So there were 3 all holding bowls, and then there was a 4th one further back that is the jet black, with the extended cobra
hood. Yeah.
And who's like 7 foot tall. He got scales all
Everywhere.
I love him.
And that's where they end, and Caleb attacks them already with slow.
Because that's what you do.
Yeah. Gotta let a monologue.
'Cause snakes!
But could be friendless snakes.
They could be friendly snakes. I'm here for the friendly snakes.
Snakes are.
Whoa. You can't just say that.
I just did.
You just did.
Just because the snakes were outside butchering and like pulling the skin off the lizard
Flaying
dudes.
lizard folk.
Lizard dudes are cool.
They got their asses whooped.
All I'm saying.
All I
Yes, it
know is that this cult seems very dangerous. So just be
How are they
wary.
getting out?
Be wary of dangerous cults and remember to practice safe sects.
And feed your traps.
Yeah, and feed your traps. I think I do that joke like every couple months. Anyway, did anybody else? But how can they encourage the snakes to monologue when no one speaks Abyssal? That is true.
But they can understand it with the spell.
That they can't understand. They just can't respond. Or maybe they understand. I don't know. I think that might be a mind whisperer you want to see. Interesting. That is another good question, King Sundu. So how do they escape the city without any sort of transportation magic?
Yeah, that was my thought. I'm like, how are they getting out?
Well, let's ponder this. This will be our last question. How are they getting out? I think
Dead? They're not.
Yeah, either they don't, or they complete the task and like are able to control the sea somehow, and like I don't know. Maybe there's like an underwater.
Avantika becomes a demigod and then teleports them all out.
She murders them.
And then they have a demigod friend.
And then they have a demigod friend who might or might not kill them later.
She's gonna murder them.
She's not. She
You're
likes
not wrong.
Ford too much. She might murder the other ones, but she likes Ford too much.
She's totally
So
just using
for-
Ford.
I
Yeah,
don't
so
think
really,
she's using him. I don't think she's using him.
in like
I
3
think there's
episodes.
a little bit of using, but I think the majority of it is her being like, "Holy shit, there's another one, and I haven't had this kind of companionship in so long."
But I think it's more holy shit. There's another one. There can only be one, and it's me.
That see,
But
that,
she
that
knows
was my
there's
thought.
not one though.
Okay, Ben,
because
go.
they're
Your turn.
I don't remember anymore. We got distracted.
How are they getting out?
Bye, Kate. I honestly think that they're not going to by the normal means. I don't think they're going to be able to walk out of the city. They're either going to have to find some secret passage within the temple to like take them out to the sea.
Which would make sense
Or-
because it is a god of the sea that they're trying to awaken.
Or they get teleported out by some really powerful magic by somebody in the temple. Whether that be like the god themselves or a demigod that rises out of Ford or Avantika. Or even Jemeni with his undead power somehow. But
Or for some reason Alora's there.
yeah, there we go.
just make sure the circle goes in the right place,
Yeah.
not out to sea where you almost drown.
Well, that happens one time and nobody can forget about it. Anywho, I think that kind of ends us for this time.
Yeah.
Did anybody have any like MVP moments, favorite jokes that happened?
The story that Jester told was great.
Yeah. I like the boop.
The boop was great.
Yeah.
I loved Sam miming that like I'm on the phone, like shh, when he's doing the message back and forth with Caleb. But yeah, so thank you guys for watching. If you don't already follow us on Twitter, go ahead and do that. If you want to follow
Where
me,
can they follow us on Twitter, Matt?
you can follow us on Twitter at Critical Reroll, and you can ask us questions there, and we'll talk to you. If you want to follow us individually, I'm Matt. You can find me at Matt_Abernathy.
I am Kate. You can find me at C Monster.
And I am Ben, and you can find me at Bardic Puppy.
Yeah. We do this every Sunday following Critical Role episodes. You can watch us live on Twitch, or you can listen to us as a podcast wherever you download podcasts, which you're probably listening to right now.
Whoa!
Right? But everybody, thanks. Everybody say bye.
Bye.
Go Team Lizards.
Snakes. Snakes. Snakes.
Lizards.
Snakes.
Lizards.
Snakes. 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 Snakes.